You know how fast you were going?
What? How fast you were going?
I don't know. 10?
8.
Be advised, this is an explicit podcast, so if you're easily offended, get your panties twisted into a knot, turn this off before you get butthurt and mad, start to cry, have to run to your safe space. All opinions are those of the host and his guest and do not reflect the opinions of any government agency. Welcome to MOTORCOP Chronicles Podcast. Always, I'm the host, the Iceman. Today in the MCC studios at Clubhouse, we have a special guest. His nickname will be the Freebird, since he's been a reserve officer for a very, very long time, and he likes to work for free. So let's welcome to the Clubhouse, the Freebird. We got claps going. Welcome.
I appreciate you having me.
You like them claps?
I do.
We actually have a live studio audience today. Is Mrs. Expensive Bird, as I was told, and his son is in the clubhouse also. And he is gonna.
We got about 5 more people other than that.
Well, my sound manager, executive producer is here as always. If not, there's no telling what the hell I wouldn't be able to edit out of here, and I'd probably get in trouble. I'm going to start with my little questions, which he is actually one of our fans, and I've known him, and he got in touch with me because he listened to us. I'm just happy to have one fan at least. So he's probably heard most of his questions. I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite movie?
Bloodsport.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
That was a good
And there's a
movie.
reason for it, but
I hope it wasn't him just doing the splits.
No, it wasn't.
Okay,
I tried to do that at one time and
Ended up in the
hurt
hospital?
myself. Yeah, hurt myself kind of bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't try to do that at all.
Yeah, it's Hollywood cameras, I believe.
I think, he could really do that in real life. Not natural, of course, but I wouldn't try to do it. What's your favorite drink?
It's going to be Gentleman Jack.
That is delicious. Jack Daniels is delicious. Your favorite TV show? I don't know if you watch TV or not.
It's not going to be TV. Probably movies is more what we watch more.
I know you wrote tickets. Are you a 10 or 15 guy?
It just depends on the day. Most of the time it's going to be 15. I know I've got a lot of training from you yourself in the past. Yeah. And you were always a 10 guy.
Yes, I'm still a 10 guy.
I'm still a 10 guy. If I'm on the interstate, it's going to be 15 to 20 because everybody on the interstate's doing 10 over.
That's why I write too many tickets on the interstate. I did teach him his, I think it was your radar and your LiDAR school.
Yes, correct.
Those are fun schools, teaching guys on how to do the operation of it.
It's interesting, and always when you have a contact with people 10, 15 miles an hour is more interesting.
You guys know it's more interesting when they're only doing 10 or like 11 over because then they're more pissed off. They they're a little bit more mad when you pull them over for going, let's say it's 70 and you pull them over for doing 81. They get mad because for some reason I get sometimes like people's like, oh, I thought I could do 80 before, 10 over is legal. Nope. Speed limit says 70. I mean, 71 is actually speeding, but being nice.
Well, I've got that. I've got that plenty, and at 80 miles an hour, they're like, well, everybody else is doing 80. You got 20 cars out here. How did you know I'm doing 80? Well, like you said in the past, that LiDAR with the scope does not lie.
Oh, no.
It's on you. I didn't put it on anybody else but you. And if I said you're doing 85, it's pretty much you're doing 85 in a 70.
I actually pulled up. I had a female one time I pulled over, and she was giving me a lot of shit, being extremely aggressive. And I finally said, "Look, lady," even if she was a girl. I said, "Look, lady." I said, "Look." I said, I came back to her car. I said, "Look," after I wrote the ticket, I said, "Look," I said, I'm going to let you try this, sit in your car, explain to her how to look through the heads-up display, the operation of it, and pointed at a vehicle and clocked them in her car. I said, if you can look through here and you can honestly look at me in my eye and say, there's no possible way that I got you, I said, I'll tear this ticket up. I let her try it. She looked at me dead in my eyes and she said, nope, you got me. So sometimes it works. I've tried that several other times before, and a lot of times I'm like, I ain't fucking doing that. Like, well, okay, well, I gave you the opportunity to do it anyway. So.
Well, you got to give them a little experience on the other side, and if you do, I think things tend to change. The opinions tend to change.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Some people you are not going to win with. Some people just mad all the time.
I've had several. There's been a couple of times that I've pulled people over on the interstate that wanted to argue, and a lot of times we don't want to have court on the side of the interstate.
Nope,
So
I advise them. It's like, no, you're going to lose this battle on side of the interstate. If you want to fight me, come to court.
Yeah.
You're going to lose on side of the road. I'm going to
that's what the court's for. And I've had people ask, hey, if I don't sign this ticket, what do I do? Well, it's going to happen that you're going to have to go to court. So one way or the other, you're going to be arrested tonight and go to court, or you're going to, sign the ticket and we can go to court another time.
I don't know how some other departments work. I guess in some of them TV shows stuff, like some departments, it's like, oh, if you don't sign a ticket, we just write refuse to sign on it. Nope. Both departments I've worked for in 25 years, if you don't sign the ticket, you go to jail.
Yeah.
Because people don't realize that speeding is actually a criminal offense, even though it's a misdemeanor. The ticket's just like a summons to appear in court or pay it either way, because it's still a criminal offense either way. And the ticket's just a promise to appear or pay. A lot of people don't realize that. YouTube law. Too much YouTube law.
Yeah, I seem to find that a lot of YouTube videos have an influence on a lot of public opinion and what they can do with the law.
Oh yeah. Well, people don't realize if you're watching a YouTube video and this lawyer's out of, I don't know, let's say Arizona. And like I said, we're in Louisiana. Not every state has the same exact laws when it comes down to it. They generally, I've seen some laws call something assault that I've watched on TV, and then over here, I'm like, no, that would be a battery charge over here. So YouTube is good for a lot of things, teaching things. I learned how to lay tile in my house watching YouTube videos, but some of it will get your ass in trouble.
A lot of practical improvement from the home. Yes, you can watch YouTube. Criminal aspect, I would not watch YouTube and garner their opinion on what to do, because it's going to find you in more trouble than what it costs to produce that YouTube video.
How many years you've got quite a few years in law enforcement, being a reserve, working for free?
9 years.
You must actually love it to do it for free for 9 years.
It's been something that I've always wanted to do, and what I've come to learn over the years with the full-time guys and a lot that they experience, I would rather put my life on the line for those guys, even working part-time, just to help those guys out, because it's something I've always wanted to do.
Well, y'all probably here enough. I'll tell you, a lot of us full-time guys appreciate the reserve guys that they're out there working for free, because they take some of the caseload off of us.
Well, that's always happened. Anytime that I've ever been out on the road and working, like I said, what we call 10-8, we're working on shift, I would get more satisfaction out of taking calls from the full-time guys so they could have a break every now and then, because you're dealing with a lot of stuff, a lot of citizens' complaints 12 hours a day. And I would rather take that load off of a full-time guy that I could, so they could have a break.
And I did learn something about you a little bit ago before we started recording, that you were actually a PPCT instructor.
Yes.
Did I add too many letters to that? I'm good at
No, you're
that.
good. You're good.
I'm good at
you had
adding
the,
stuff. I'll
the
say
4 letters originally. Originally, departments had a pressure point control tactic / PPCT course, and that's what a lot of the departments were governed by. And I'd been in martial arts for 17 years and got to experience going to pressure point control tactics school, which governed a lot of the police departments. And since I had always wanted to be a police officer, it kind of led me into that path. And a lot of the departments wanted you to be a member of their department to be able to teach pressure point control tactics.
And you also, I believe you attended a post-reserve academy. Which
Yes, correct.
I think that was extremely long, wasn't it? Over months of time?
It went probably March, April, up until about November.
So
November
it was a long time.
Yeah, and it was several nights a week, especially when we got into firearms. Firearms was every night a week.
Well, so at least the reserves, man, they went through all them. A lot of them reserves go through a shitload of training just to go out there to serve the public for free. So
We as far there's several reserves. A lot of people have a different mentality on it. There are several that I was in the academy with that thought the same thing that I did. We wanted to be an asset to the full-time guys. Even though we couldn't be a full-time person, we wanted to be 100% all the time, even though we were 50%. Does that make sense?
I don't think y'all were more than 50. You worked the shitload.
Well, we might be 50% of the time that we come out and worked, but we wanted to make sure that we had y'all's back and we could do 100% of the job all the time without anybody having to take time out of their schedule or their daily routine to help.
Well, I think we've been serious enough. I feel like we got to get into some funny shit, because I'm just feeling like off. I feel like I should be like Dr. Phil or something right now. And
well, you are most of the time.
I have fucking hair, so I'll take Dr. Phil's money, of course. His wife has too much plastic surgery for me and needs to eat something.
Well, the first time that you were teaching a class, the first time that you were actually instructing a class, I mean, you were like Dr. Phil.
Oh, Lord.
So when I left the class, I almost had to, go back and I was almost crying when you first taught a class.
It was
about radar, and I almost cried over it.
But you didn't go through when I was a firearms instructor. I mean, not firearms, a chemical weapons instructor, and actually used to do that, which I will be telling a story about that tonight in a little bit, which hashtag out of the dumbass today, and we'll get into that in a little bit.
Well, you did. You remember the time that you pulled me over? I did have.
You say I pulled you over. I pulled
the Iceman
over.
The Iceman did pull me over at one point in my career, and here I am in law enforcement and know what we go through and some of the training, and I was still nervous because Iceman was standing on the road with the posse that they normally do, and I saw him walk out and put the hand up, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm in trouble now. I'm going to jail. Because sometimes
did we even get a ticket?
I did not. I did not get a ticket.
You were one of those.
I saw
special few.
I saw out of the corner. I know you normally have that resting asshole face. That
Yes,
RAF,
the RAF. Yes,
the RAF. And like I've mentioned before, I think the British Royal Air Force will have to change their name because they have the same initials as RAF. And I think you've already been in contact with them, and I think they're going to change their name.
I called the Queen. I don't know if she remembers because she's like 100 fucking years old.
But I did see you standing
like,
out on the road, and I'm like, damn it. He's got that RAF face. It never changes, and I know I'm getting a ticket, and I've worked with you. I worked with you several years already, and I'm like, shit, that's something that's going to write me a ticket. But, I mean, I think I laid it on thick enough that I almost made you, I don't know if I almost made you cry or not. I doubt it.
Cry? Maybe with tears of pain for not writing a ticket.
I think you may, I don't know.
Like
I might have had to park my truck and then walk a half a mile. And
It's like
people,
people-
that's it. You're going to park and
I
walk.
smile. They're like, you need to smile more. So when I smiled more, they looked at me and they're like, some of the guys that know me are like, why are you smiling? It's like, you're creeping us out. Stop. What are you up to? Because it's not natural for me to sit there with a smile on my face. And actually, it hurts a little bit because my face isn't made like that.
I do know that when I saw you on the road and you walked out with your hand up, it was just like our small dog. When I go to feed him like one of those special treats, he's dripping at the mouth. He's got saliva just dripping, and I'm like, I know I've got shit messed up. I can see him. He's like, yeah, this is like a dog with a bone. I know that's what was coming.
I was drooling.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see it like a half a block away.
Actually, in my older age, believe it or not, I've lightened up a little bit. I used to write every single violation someone had on them. If I pulled you over and there was 5 things wrong, you were getting 5 tickets. I'm more relaxed now. If you got 5 things wrong, you might only get 2, depending on your attitude. A lot of tickets depend on people's attitude nowadays. You're going to get at least 1.
Yes.
But if you got 5, I might only give you 2. I feel like I'm a much nicer person as I'm aging.
I agree with that. Sometimes you get a little rambunctious about what you're going to write with the attitude, and if it's a good attitude, it might be 1. If it's a really sour attitude, it might be 2 or 3.
I'll start looking for shit.
It doesn't. When they go to pay fines and the stories they give, I think they embellish a little bit,
Or they call and complain on you and lie about you.
Sometimes that depends on their attitude. I guess sometimes it depends on your haircut.
I just got my hair cut today. I think I'm looking pretty damn sexy
It
myself.
looks good. It looks good.
So what kind of funny stories? I see you got you some stories wrote down. Freebird came prepared. Not like some of my guests. He's prepared.
I don't know where you want to start.
Start wherever you want to
depends.
start. You start where you want to start at. We're unscripted, unedited.
So we go through, you go through a rigorous training process, and when you first get cut loose, you're all gung-ho, and you want to make a difference, and you especially want to make a difference with the full-time guys. So one night, we were finishing up some reports, and I'm sitting there, and it was one of the very first times that I'd been cut loose with our field training officer programs, and you do a ton of hours with that. So I'm we kind of sitting there watching a stop sign while we're doing reports. So like I said, the very first time that I was cut loose, so to speak. And I'm watching this particular stop sign while I'm typing a report, and this car just blows the stop sign, like not even stop. And I'm like, wait,
Like, are you
there's
fucking
no
kidding
way.
me?
There's not a rolling stop. There's not like an argument that like, oh yeah, I did stop, but then I just went on through. Like they just went through the whole stop sign at the same speed they approached it at. So I finally was able to catch up with the woman and pull her over, and she falls out of the car. Now this is one of the first times that I'd been cut loose I'd been through a lot of training, but you know, on the first time that you're cut loose, you know, things are a little different. Yeah, you know,
You're
it's just
excited
you.
now,
You're
yeah.
excited. You know, you want to make sure everything's right. You want to make sure that you don't want to jack up anything on the radio. And this girl falls out of the car when I let her up and pull her over, and she falls out of the car.
Did she stop before she fell out the car?
Well, yeah, she did stop. She did stop.
Well, she knows what stop means.
Yeah, she
anyway.
did. She didn't know what the lights meant, you know, the overhead lights meant. And she falls out of the car, and she's half naked. She has no bra on. Her shirt's ripped, and half of her upper body's, hanging out. And there's blood all over the damn door.
She didn't have a big long hair between her titties.
No, she didn't. And I was lucky enough to not experience the same thing you did with that big long.
Yes, I was just checking to make sure it wasn't the same
hair.
person with the hair.
Yeah, I know a lot of people might want to listen to that episode with that big long hair. I did not have that experience, but she had blood all over the door, and I'm like, you know, when I'm standing there with my mouth open and like, oh shit, what the hell happened here? What did I just get into? And she's falling, stumbling, screaming, and I'm like, I just thought it was a stop sign violation, and I'm like, what? I don't know what the hell is going to happen from here on. So I was a little nervous. So apparently, a long story short, she had gotten in a fight with her boyfriend, or her husband was seeing another girl in another town. She went over to that point, you know, at that residence and got beat up by the husband, and got her ass whipped by the husband and the girlfriend. So she was going back to the next parish over, and somehow she had a small cut on her finger that had bled all over the door, all over her shirt, the shirt that was ripped, and half of her.
Just saying,
body hanging out.
Her titties were hanging out.
The titties were hanging out, and I'm like, you know, like I said, my first thought was, holy shit, what the hell did I get into?
You thought you had a rape case or something.
Yeah, I thought that this is not happening here over a stop sign. So we had a Canadian there that checked her out.
Put a Band-Aid on her finger?
Band-Aid on her finger, and next thing I know, she was wanting my phone number. And I said, well, you might you might be in another fight over my phone number.
You should have gave her the phone number.
Well, I started to.
Not your number.
Yeah, I started to give her the phone number, and then call my wife and say, hey, I just gave a girl your phone number.
No, you give her one of your buddy's phone number.
Yeah, that's what I should have done. Look, your phone number is, and his name is Iceman.
No, not my number, because Bam over here would first... She'd kick my ass thinking I was doing something. Then she'd kick your ass when she found out what happened.
We would both have our ass kicked, and the girl would have her ass kicked.
Yes,
for
what you need to do is you should have gave her 8675309. Let her call that one.
Well, I didn't. At the time, I think she would have called that number.
She wouldn't got nobody. I don't know who from the song, but from all you young people out there, you can look it up.
It's always interesting. We always get into a lot of things, and
I don't get into that. I'm an angel.
Well, I know the motor guys get into a lot of stuff, but then they point it off. They point it off to the patrol guys. Hey, can you come over here and assist with this?
Oh, that's when we
got
like people.
14 pounds of weed, but I made a traffic stop on a guy that had a expired inspection sticker.
Yeah, I mean, I just want the inspection sticker. I mean,
yeah, let me write him his ticket for the inspection sticker,
want to transport
but you can have
guy?
the weed shit. Yeah. So it's always been interesting to me, especially when we come across the motor guys, the motor cop guys that always wanted to at least get the ticket down. So
it's the main part.
Yeah, that was the main part.
That was my main part. If I wanted to work dope, I'd be in narcotics.
Yeah. Yeah, if they had 14 pounds of weed, don't worry about it. I've got his ticket. He signed it. Y'all take the rest.
Could you throw this away for me? What is it? It's like 4 keys of weed. I mean, I just wrote the guy a ticket. I just let him slide.
Well, I've had, I've tried to be a motor guy a bunch, and y'all go through extensive training and have a lot of different facets of policing that y'all have to deal with. You got funerals, you've got a lot of traffic things that y'all deal with. So I've always tried to pattern myself a little bit after the motor guys.
You need tight pants and boots.
I didn't have that.
So that's what it takes, tight pants.
Tight pants and boots.
Tight pants and tall leather boots.
And
you got to earn yourself your motor wings on your uniform.
I didn't have that, so that's why I was always at 50%.
Yes.
I could write a ticket.
But you had straight leg pants on.
Yeah, I had straight leg pants, and I didn't have tall boots.
No, it's the boots.
Is that what it is?
And the tight pants, yeah.
I've always wondered that, and I knew that was probably the problem.
Sometimes tight pants aren't that fun, especially
I don't know where they never let us know where to go to get that stuff.
It's secret. You got to go through motor school, and we'll tell you where to go get them.
Yeah, we never did know that. I mean, I called 15 different shops.
You don't want to drive around in a car
they're like,
with those
no.
boots. You don't want to drive around a car in them boots all day, Joe. Trust me, they're not made for driving in cars.
Is that the cars were different?
Well,
the boots.
The boot they don't bend quite like regular boots do if you're sitting in that car all day.
Did y'all just wear the boots like when y'all were standing out on the road?
Whenever you're riding. Well, I mean, I wear mine. Where I work now, I don't bring my bike home or my car home every day, one or the other. So, like on some days, if I'm iffy on the rain, I wear my motor uniform with my boots and stuff, and I may get stuck in the car all day. And I'm gonna tell you, it's not comfortable sitting in a unit.
So you're saying that you do ride in a car with your boots?
Yes,
do you shine them before you get in the car?
No. Because
has anybody ever made fun of your boots?
No one makes fun of our boots. We're scary people. People scared of motor cops.
I don't know. I'm asking because that would be I guess
the unit I have now. When I get home, I'll have a bad rub spot on it from where the console is on the side of my boot, and so I'm not gonna. If I know it's a possibility I may be in it, I'm not gonna shine them before I go in there because they're gonna be all messed up by the end of the day.
Well, I did have, like I said, I sometimes I patted myself after the motor guys. I was directing traffic one day on a wreck that the state police was working. So I'm directing traffic, and I had a truck that absolutely almost caused another wreck. So, here I'm thinking I should have had boots on, directing this traffic, but I didn't.
You're barefoot.
And I think I probably, if I did, it wouldn't have went in this direction. So, I'm directing traffic, and he totally went an opposite direction, flipped around, almost caused another accident. So I flag him over to the side of the road. And I'm thinking, if I look more like a motor guy, that I probably wouldn't have had this problem. And so when I contacted him at the door, he gets out of his vehicle, and he's got a sack of weed that falls out of his pocket onto the floorboard and a joint behind his ear.
That wasn't his pants.
It wasn't his pants, and I didn't have motor pants on.
That wasn't that wasn't his pants. You don't know where that weed come from.
His
cousin's pants.
He said it, and it was a strong odor of marijuana, and I'm like, holy cow, what in the world did you do? He said, well, me and my uncle just lit this up, and I didn't know you were directing. I didn't know there was a wreck here, so long story short, it happened to be that it was his third conviction on a marijuana.
That's a felony.
Which is a felony. And he was more pissed because now he's going to go to jail. And I said, all you had to do was just obey what I was telling you to do and just stop and wait instead of trying to do some crazy stuff in the middle of traffic.
That's a guilty conscience.
So
That's where guilty conscience.
I couldn't believe that the sack of weed in the joint was behind his ears. Some of the stuff that you see on TV, it actually happens, and it's as good as a movie at the.
It's like Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, it's like Bloodsport.
Guilty conscience will get the bad guys. Recently, it's just probably about 3 weeks ago. Me and the Tot, my partner, were at a grocery store. I ain't told the story, have I? I don't think I have. And we were at a grocery store. We stopped. When I say grocery store, it was a stop and rob. He wanted to get something to drink. It was hot. I was sitting down on my bike waiting on him. He goes in and gets a drink. I see.
When it's hot, you still have tight pants on?
Yes, I always have tight pants on. I look good in my tight pants. I think I look good. I mean, the sound producer likes me in my tight pants. That's what matters.
Yeah. So, she did mention that. That was one of the
that was
attracting factors.
Yes, that's it. That's all it was. It makes me wear them to bed, and I'm joking. But anyway, let me get back to the story before we're going whoop, off in the wrong direction there. That's for a different podcast. Welcome to Pornhub. No. This young guy comes walking across, very tall. He's about 6'3", skinny, probably about 180 pounds. He comes walking across the parking lot. I'm watching him. His pants are hanging like way below his ass with his underwear, not under the clothes, of course.
So you knew he wasn't a motor guy.
No, he was not a motor guy. He was sagging his pants bad. Well, the area I was in, we were actually inside the city limits at the time. This city has an ordinance against the saggy pants, believe it or not. Well, I wasn't. It was hot. I'm not gonna fuck with this kid because his pants are fucking sagging. If he wants to walk around looking stupid, that's up to him. About that time, the Tot's coming out. He's getting on his bike. He rolls out in front of me. A uniform guy in a unit comes rolling in. I guess this is like says a local stop and rob. I guess he was getting something to drink or something. I'm not sure. Well, he's rolling up. The Tot's in front of me. I'm behind. The guy's in between us. The uniform guy looks at the guy and says, "Hey, man, come here." Well, he was just going to tell him to pull his pants up. That was it. Well, when he says, "Hey, man, come here," the guy looks at him and takes off running. So I'm right behind him. I'm on my motorcycle. So I take off behind him. I mean, he wasn't just walking with saggy pants on the side. Oh, this is a good time to go jogging when the cops asked me to come here. So he just starts sprinting.
So you knew with the saggy pants that you might have an advantage, that his speed from the saggy pants might slow him down.
Well, I wasn't on foot. I was still on a motorcycle. I'm pretty sure he wasn't going on a motorcycle. Well, he goes around this building. About this time, the Tot sees too. So he goes around the building. Now, the poor unit's pointing in the opposite direction. So he's got to, do all this backing up crap and everything. Well, he takes off. We're right on his ass. We run behind the building, back up front. It's a one-way highway. He goes down the sidewalk. We're still on his ass, telling him to stop running. The Todd's got his taser at this point. I'm thinking, if he tases this fucker while he's running, that's going to be nasty. He couldn't get quite the angle that he wanted to tase him. But anyway, we turn around this other building. We start going through this parking lot, and he started, and there's like a big grass field backyard area of these people. Well, the unit goes on the other road, like we're in the middle of a block, and the Tot goes on the other side of the road, so they're on both sides of them. The guy takes off through the grass. Well, I'm an old redneck motherfucker,
Right.
I'm thinking,
there's nothing wrong with that, but
it hadn't rained in a while. I'm like, so shit's dry. I said, fuck this shit. So dude's running, and he actually stopped for a second. I guess he figured since he was going through yards that he was okay and stopped to take a breath. When he did, he didn't realize that I was still behind him going through the yards on my motorcycle. And when he stopped to take that breath a second, I was like, oh, I got this son of a bitch. I'm going to do a human pit maneuver on him, which was me. I was just going to like hit him with the motorcycle.
So you might, I think I've seen a version of this on Chips one time back in the 70s. You were going to jump on the motorcycle?
No, I was just going to hit him I was just going to hit him with the motorcycle. Well, I gassed on it, and I guess he heard my pipes and stuff rev up. Now he looked up, and he was like the biggest oh shit look you could see in his eyeballs. Well, he was pretty close to this fence. Well, he jumps over this chain link fence right there, which I can't do on a motorcycle. But the tot was on the right, the unit was on the left, and the other side of the yard had a big, large wooden fence. Like, it's not going to be easy to go over. So I take a left and I go where the unit's at. Well, by that time, bad guy comes running around where he had a board missing in the fence. Well, as he run past that empty board in the fence, the uniform guy tased him in mid-stride through the fence.
Through the fence?
Through the hole in the fence. So bad guy hits the ground.
That's a hell of a shot.
I'm calling out everything because dispatch is freaking out because everything was quiet, and all of a sudden I keyed up and was like, we got one running. They had no clue what the hell was going on. I'm trying to give them locations as we're running.
You were already mid sentence to mid action.
I holler. I'm like, taser deployed, all this stuff like that. Well, finally, the uniform guy was on the other side of the fence with the lead still stuck in him. He got it was a perfect shot, spread on it and everything else. One hit him in his chest area and one hit him in his lower leg, thigh area. So it dropped him good. I get back there, and like I said, this dude's about 6'3" and about 180 pounds. My fat ass ain't going to run with this dude. I look at him and said, don't you get up and run again now, because I had my spray out at the time. And he's like, oh, I ain't going nowhere. And the uniform guys on the side of the fence can't really see too much what's going on because he shot him through his little hole in the fence. He's like, you need me to light him up again? I'm like, no. The guy's like, please, no, please don't do it again. I ain't going nowhere. Anyway, I handcuffed the guy. We get him out to the car.
That's a hell of a shot, though. It
was a good shot. This dude was running because he had a little dime bag of weed on him. All this crap over a little dime bag of weed. Misdemeanor possession of weed. That if he wouldn't have run, the uniform guy was just going to tell him to pull his pants up. He didn't have no reason to search him or nothing. Guilty conscience. This dude went to jail for resisting arrest by flight and the possession of marijuana. And I don't know if they charged him with the pants ordinance or not. Probably not. But that's what a guilty conscience will get you.
Well, that's happened. It's happened to me several times, and one that stands out with me with the same amount, like a dime bag. I'm watching the same stop sign that the lady ran through. I just happened to be.
You were just hoping to see more titties.
Well, it could have been.
Don't lie.
It could have been. I mean, that was the first experience, and I'm like, well, if it's like this all the time, I'm pulling everybody over there.
This ain't a stop sign. This is a titty magnet.
That was my first thought. I'm like, this is better than the strip club, and I don't have to pay anything. So I'm like, yeah, hell, this is a free night at the strip club. So this is several nights, several weeks later, and then we're watching the same stop sign, typing a report, and this person runs through the stop sign, and like you said, the guilty conscience gets to you. So this guy's pretty nervous, and I'm looking, and don't come across anything, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to pick my girlfriend up, and I'm just running late, and that's the reason I run the stop sign. I'm like, well, you didn't just run it, you like blew it. You didn't
saved
stop.
Them all about half a second.
So I'm like, hey, back in my motor cop training, this is not a stop at the stop sign. So he proceeds, so I kind of search a little bit, and I'm like, okay, well, I was going to kind of give him a break. He said he was going to pick his girlfriend up, and she was getting off of work, and he overslept, and he wanted to run and just pick her up and make her happy so he wouldn't get in trouble. I said, okay. Well, lo and behold, I had one of our narcotics guys pull up on me. And he said, you're killing my spot here. And I didn't know that it was his spot. I just happened to be sitting there because it was a popular spot. He said, yeah, well, you like to watch this spot for, a lot of narcotics. So
It's like, did you write your name on it? Is it your spot?
yeah, well, I asked him. I said, well, I never did see you sitting here before. So I'm trying to do the best I can.
Because he's undercover.
Undercover. Yeah, undercover, and he might have been looking for the strip club.
He might have been
show.
looking for him too. Talking about that today, I stopped and got my ears lifted, my hair trimmed. I'm waiting outside because they had a little sign saying, after you sign up, wait outside. Excuse me. So I'm leaning up against the wall waiting, sweating my ass off. Like, God, it's taking a long time. And this lady pulls up in this minivan. I guess she's planning on getting her kid's hair cut. Well, she gets her kid out the car, and she gets out, and she's like, oh, my God. They ain't gonna let you in there with no shoes on with all this going on. I can't believe. I'm like, first of all, this kid's like 6. Like, you didn't realize he had fucking shoes on when he left. And to me personally, all right, she was on the larger side of woman. Like I'm 270 something pounds. She outweighed me, so she was on the larger side of woman. But no, she should not have been worrying about this kid's shoes at the time, because she had one of them. I don't even fucking. It was one of them long one-piece dresses on, kind of like spaghetti strap or whatever. Yeah. Well, the kid might have forgot to wear his shoes out. This bitch forgot to put her bra on. Okay, she wasn't. It wasn't pointing at me. Them nipples were like, right there. I'm thinking, you worry about this kid's shoes. You've left the house without your brassiere. Where the hell's your bra at, woman? Titties flopping all over the place. Not the like the wrong way. I don't want to see them things. It has scarred. I mean, it was bad.
Sometimes
it was bad.
I've seen the priorities. Priorities were more on the kid than.
No, well, obviously the kids didn't have shoes on either. They all left the house half naked. It's like, put your bra on, lady. It's like, you got to, them things are sticking, flapping in the wind right there. Stop it.
Well, that might have been the only action that, that she could have gotten at the time.
Obviously not. She had a kid. Somebody's hitting it. So, but I'm just saying, she needs to put a bra on. Yeah, it was bad. It was. Did
she have a dime bag at some point under?
Oh, I didn't get that close to it. She put her kid back in the car with no shoes on. She jumped back in there. I think one of her booze might got caught in the steering wheel. She had to pull out before she left or something like that. I'm not real sure. I was just glad she left because she wanted to talk to me. It's like, no, because then they think that you're staring at it. It's like, oh, he must think my titty is sexy. No, I'm sitting here thinking, lady, you bitching at your kids for not wearing shoes. Where is your bra? Where's your bra?
Well, it could be. I don't know the mentality of some of the people that you come in contact with. Well, they could elicit some of that in their own mind. That
it might be like this like guy, yoga pants is one size fits all. It's a lie.
I've heard about Iceman, and he's looking at my stuff.
Yeah,
and I really hope that I end up on the podcast.
Well,
and that person is happy now if she listens to the podcast.
I know
she is happy. She is on it.
It was bad.
She said, "I made the big show."
It was bad.
I made it in all 50.
We scratched one story off of there.
Oh well, well, there's several more.
Let's hear another one because I can go on about
one of my favorite, and we always deal with a lot of medical emergencies. And one day I got dispatched to a medical emergency, and I get to this location that I've never been to before, and this so it was a trailer, and I walk up, and there's 3 ladies standing there. And they're in their 40s, and which is my age, and I'm looking at them. And they're like, "Look, my mother has been drinking all day. She don't normally drink. She's never drank in her life, and she's done drank a half a fifth of Jack Daniels."
She had to be in her 60s or 70s.
Yes, she was. So I walk inside, and in the ambulance, our medical professional was already there.
The new term for ambulance is boo-boo wagon.
Boo-boo wagon?
Yes, people have boo-boos and they had to get in.
Okay, well, she had a, I would assume she had a boo-boo. It was a severe boo-boo after drinking a fifth of Jack Daniels. And so I walk in, and she's in the bed in the back part of this trailer. And there's about 5 of the boo-boo wagon employees around. And they're good sized guys. They're not like a 5'7". These guys are 6 foot tall. They're capable of manhandling a medical situation. So she's laying in the bed, and the daughters have told me, hey, she drank half a fifth of Jack Daniels, and she never drinks. And she's laid out in the bed. So when I get in there, all the medical people are around, and she's, incoherent, and she's telling, the guys, hey, screw y'all. I'm not going with y'all.
She was still talking, and she
was still talking. She was not passed out, and I was sworn to that she never drinks.
But
never.
She didn't have a bra on either, did she?
She had a muumuu dress on. So it was one of those flowered muumuu dresses, so I couldn't tell if it was, a bra or not. It was all in one. So the medical professionals were talking to her, trying to get her in the ambulance like they normally do to go get an evaluation and to check her vital signs. And she's like, fuck y'all. I'm not going with y'all. I'm not going anywhere. So this went on 5 minutes, and we're just there for backup and help. And finally, I thought that, and let me preface this with, most of the elderly people I take care of. I'm never going to disrespect an elderly person.
No, they deserve a little respect.
They've been around a long time, and, they've lived a lot longer than I have, and they experienced a hell of a lot more things than I have. And they're more wise. So, most of them. So I'm not going to say anything. So 5 minutes went on, and finally I'm like, she's not going anywhere. She's laying in the bed. She's trying to tell all the people, screw you, I'm not going anywhere. So I finally look at her, and I point my finger at her, and I'm like, you're going to go with these guys. You're going to get your ass out of this bed, and you're going to go with these guys so they can check you out.
She whoop your ass. Yeah.
Well, this is the first experience that I had with an older person, talking back, and she's like, "Well, fuck you."
She'll cane you.
And I'm like, "Wait a minute, I was taken back." She's like, because I thought, being, in the uniform and law enforcement, and she would listen a little bit, and she didn't. She's like, "Fuck you! Don't you point your finger at me."
That's right.
And I said, so I let the medical professionals deal with her a little more. And then I went outside and I talked to the daughters a little more. And I said, hey, she's drank quite a lot of liquor, and she's going to need some medical help. So I said, let me call my boss, and we're going to see if we can get a OPC. I said, if we have to, we might get an OPC. Order of protective custody, so we can, maybe get her some help so she don't die from drinking so much liquor that she's not used to. So I go outside and make a phone call and come back in. By this time, they had done got her out and got her out of the bed and into the restroom area, and they're trying to get her situated so they could put her in the stretcher, and finally get her in the stretcher. And she's like, hey, which one of y'all said y'all were going to call the coroner? And I said, well, that's me. She said, well, fuck you.
You didn't make a new friend that night.
I said, oh, man, what, and so everybody's laughing, it's not a lighthearted situation, but when an elderly person says, fuck you, it's pretty comical. So, they finally get her in the stretcher, and they get her outside, and, I'm looking at her, and I'm like, hey, you're okay now, and you fix it to get in an ambulance, or, we're going to take care of you, and all. So she's like, hey, what's your name again? And I'm just like, it's Deputy Freebird. She said, do you know so-and-so? I said, no, I'm not sure who that is. I said, is she related to me? She said, no, she said, I was going to call her and tell her you were a fucking asshole. I said, well, I hope I can work on my skills. I said, I hope I could work on my people skills a little bit more for you. So I think later on I found out she had lost her dog after 18 years, and she, I think she has some problems with that. And
you should have smoothed her.
I tried to. I tried to. Like she really let me have it.
I've actually smoothed some older people into ambulances before, believe it or not.
It takes it's an art trying to get people to go with some of the medical, professionals.
Oh, trust me, there's a story. I'm not even going to tell this one, but I got a guy to go he was threatening to commit suicide, and he was refusing to go, and he ended up going to the hospital after I had this talk with him. I'll tell you about that off microphone. it was one of my extremely, you surely shouldn't have done that shit, Iceman moments, but it worked. But still not going to put in there. Wait, when I retire, I may tell this story, even though this shit was like 15 years ago. I'm just wait.
It was tactics that wasn't written down in a book.
Oh, well, it's written down in the book on shit you're not supposed to say to people. But it worked. But it's like they I think some of the classes, they still actually use some things I have said to people on traffic stops and stuff that
people would have coronaries.
Yeah, they're like, this is what you're not supposed to say to people when you're doing it. Yeah.
I kind of get the same thing. It's a Fred Sanford moment, because I used to watch a hell of a lot of Fred Sanford.
You big dummy.
And it's I'm having the big one.
Oh, I have stories. I have people. If I'm still around here doing this by the time I retire, which I hope I am, I will have
a lot of people.
Plenty of stories that I can't talk about right now.
A lot of people they don't realize a lot of the suicide calls that law enforcement get, and there was one night that back in my FTO process.
Oh, he's talking about back in the day.
Back in the day in the field training process.
Back in the day, Sam. There you
go. Back up way back, we were dealing with a person that was wanting to commit suicide, and we finally made contact with this guy, and he had a sawed-off shotgun, and we finally get him out on his porch, and we're talking with him, and this guy was drunk as hell. So we were dealing with him, and we're making light of the situation, and he's making jokes. He's cracking jokes. So we had the sawed-off shotgun secured, and me and my training partner that I was riding with, he's talking with him, and I'm standing there, and we're making sure everything's secure, and all of a sudden I get punched in the back in my back in the vest. Scared the living hell out of me. And I'm like, somebody done punched me, and we fixing to get shot, because we're standing out on the porch. Well, lo and behold, the drunk guy that's committing, that wanted to commit suicide on the call is laughing his ass off. So he's sitting down on a cooler outside the door on the porch, and he's laughing his ass off, and my trainer's laughing his ass off. And I spin around like I'm fixing to cold cock the son of a bitch that just hit me in the back. Well, apparently it was the wind in the screen door that had swung the screen door around, and it smacked me in the back. Well, while we're being serious talking to this guy, and that was one for the ages there, because it actually.
You're gonna beat the screen door.
I was beating the shit out of that screen door because it's getting kicked and hit and everything else.
committed a battery.
So you know that was one of our
The screen offense.
I didn't know what I was going to charge the screen door with, but something was going to happen. It was going to be ripped, kicked, bent.
Well, at least see the guy didn't end up killing himself. He actually laughed in the end of it.
But I tell you, the guy that, you know, apparently it made light of everything that he was going through, and you know, that son of a bitch was just laughing his ass off at me. And I'm assuming that I felt some kind of you know, gratitude that I was able to you know, pass his what his state of mind was. You know,
yeah, he might still today laugh about that. This damn cop got my screen door whipped his ass.
Yeah.
Keep on going.
I know you had I don't know, a lot of motor guys didn't get to experience a lot of that, but I know y'all were on calls during the day shift, you know, that had calls like that. So I know y'all responded to a lot that you wouldn't normally respond to.
Well, I ain't gonna do the sound effect again since I did, but way back in the day, I'm talking probably closer to 20 years ago, when I was uniform, talking about suicide. We got called to this woman threatening to commit suicide. I can still drive you to the house. I don't know if they live there or not, but anyway, we get called over there. We get over there, and you know, it was one of them that the person was actually like doing stuff to themselves. Like a lot of times you get there, it's bullshit. We get there, I get there with the ambulance people. They're standing there. I go in there, and this woman's I don't even think she was a girl because her mama was there. She was in her 20s. She's in the bathtub, and she done cut both of her wrists wide ass open with razor blade. Sitting in this bathtub, fucking blood everywhere. I mean, it was one of them scenes that you can only recreate in movies or something like that. It was pretty bad. There's blood everywhere. Well, my supervisor pulls up there. So it's me, the supervisor, and Acadian, which they kind of backed up because she still had the razor blades in her hand. Now I'm sitting there looking, oh, Lord, we about to talk about something. And as soon as I finish this, my supervisor looks at me. You know, I'm a rookie cop. Looks at me and says, no, I do not want. Freebird's wife just brought in some douche juice for him to drink, and it is. You ever hear me talk about vinegar? He just take a big old drink of pickle juice, or Massengill or something. He just drank. I don't know. It's fucking nasty. But my supervisor looks at me and said,
Massengill is the best.
I hope
you get what you pay for. Some products are less expensive, some are more.
So it's not the Dollar General brand?
No, it's not the Dollar General. It's the more expensive Massengill.
I hope you got the rose petaled one or something. It's gross as shit. Smelt that. Ugh. My supervisor looks at me and is like,
that was a special for this podcast.
How the hell can he drink that shit? It's just nasty. My supervisor looks at me and he's throwing me off my game. He looks at me and says, just grab that razor blade. I look at him like, fuck, you crazy or something? She's going to cut me with that shit. He's like, no, just grab it. I'm looking at him. He's looking at me. He's like, oh, he's my boss. He's like, I'm like, fucking cop. I've only been a cop for like 2 or 3 years. I'm like, by the time she happened to look at her mom at the opportune moment, I just slapped it and it went in the tub. And I had gloves on. I grabbed her by both of her wrists to try to get her out this tub. And when I do shit, I mean, she had sliced them wide open. Just blood gushing through my hands. Like, I'm like, he's like, we get outside. He's like, yeah, I really didn't think you would do that. I was just messing with you. That's what fucking man.
He was goading you into the next move.
He got me, you know, because I went in and did it, but I was like, I didn't think you'd really do that.
He goaded you into the next move.
Yeah. But
well, that happened. You know, the same similar situation happened to me with a elderly lady. We committing suicide and
together.
Well,
You said you just say we were committing suicide. So
Well, no, not
like
together.
A David Caraft thing.
Not
or
together.
Koresh or
I mean,
whatever.
I was trying to assist in not her committing suicide.
Okay.
And she got pretty belligerent. Now it was a smaller elderly female, and we got dispatched to this residence, and so we're I'm trying to hold her for Acadian to get there and do their assessment. And I say Acadian,
The boo-boo wagon.
the
people.
boo-boo wagon. I didn't.
Oh, it don't matter. It's a big department that covers
The boo-boo wagon to
large
get there and
area.
do their assessment. Well, while I'm trying to hold her and contain her, she's cussing up a storm, telling me I'm a piece of shit and everything else, and so I'm just trying to hold her there, and she gets to trying to kick me in my legs and kick me in my shin. So we finally fall to the ground on this porch. So I'm just trying to hold her there, trying to hold her arms, and I'm trying to lay on top of her a little bit so she don't move and kick me anymore.
It sounds like you're almost getting a hashtag
so I
Me Too
thought
thing
I
there.
knew I had the suicide under control because she didn't have any weapons. But then she commences to tell me that I'm a fat, donut-eating, sorry son of a bitch. That I'm a fat ass to get off of her ass. And, the only thing that I could think of to come back on that while I'm trying to hold her down is I'm like,
Donuts are delicious.
I love donuts. I love donuts. I'll eat as many donuts as I can. But she is absolutely adamant that I'm a fat ass donut eating son of a bitch, and I need to get off the top of her. But I think in that situation I saved the suicide attempt.
It's not called a donut. It's called a crime fighting power biscuit.
I tell you what, she had a lot of descriptive fat comments, and of course I'm not as skinny as I was in high school, but I'm not a donut eating machine. Now we do partake in some donut.
Yeah, well, everybody loves donuts.
Yeah,
I hate the donut joke thing. They actually had me picking up donuts for a jury one time.
You was on your motorcycle?
No, I was in the unit, but had me. They called me next week, they had a jury trial going on. They said, look, stop and pick up a couple dozen donuts and bring them up to the courthouse. So I'm in line with everybody else. And of course, you got that one asshole and
Stereotypical.
Yeah, and he's in front of me. He turns around and says, "What you doing here? Getting some donuts?" I said, "What are you doing here? Buying laundry detergent? Or are you getting a donut too?" He just kind of looked at me like stupid fucking people. I can't stand stupid ass questions like that. I say, I'm in the goddamn donut shop. What the hell you think I'm doing?
Well,
dumbass.
He was probably riding in the left lane at 55 miles an hour on the way to the donut
checking
shop.
his Facebook.
Checking Facebook.
All right, we're going to take us a small little break right here real quick for the bathroom privileges. Y'all stand by and we'll be back in a minute.
Stand by.
We interrupt this program for an important announcement. Ladies and gentlemen.
Are you standing by? A very important message is coming. Are you still standing by?
We interrupt for this breaking news.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
There's a podcast that happens on Saturday night that you need to know about. All right, can I get out of serious mode? Let's go to goofy. Okay. Make sure to listen to Louisiana Saturday Night. Robert and April are your hosts, and they talk a lot about current events. And occasionally they'll have a guest and include them on the conversation. It's raw, it's blunt, and explicit. Well, if there is one thing I know, and that is I like dirty. Anyway. It's for anyone who wants to have fun and not take life so seriously. And God knows we need that these days. Robert and April on Louisiana Saturday Night. Check them out at louisianasaturdaynight.podbean.com.
All right, we're back from break. If y'all wondering, everything came out fine and dandy. My urologist will be happy. If I had a urologist, I'm probably gonna need one soon. The Freebird just put the douche juice by me, and he's looking at it and throw up on him. And I had pizza earlier. It's gonna be nasty. Keep the douche to yourself. I can't believe he drinks that shit. God.
There's a lot of people that do.
Well, it's nastiness he's got it. It's just it's even piss colored. That's just bad. It's green.
It's
like
double action. You can drink
piss
it.
Color.
You can drink it or use it as old school douche.
Like I say, it's definitely it's pickled shit. No, anything pickles just nasty. Like I said, don't look when you can take shit, use vinegar and shit to clean your floors with, clean your pussy with, and all that other shit. You don't fucking drink the shit. Okay, that's like might as well just take a big gulp of fucking Windex. Delicious Windex in your thing.
Well, you eat it, don't you?
No, see, I make my own for my wife, and it is steak scented flavored stuff, you know. Because if a man invented douche, it wouldn't be Summer's Eve, Gardens of Flowers. Who wants to fucking eat? No, it'd be pizza flavored, hamburger flavored, and all stuff. And if I ever figure out how to maybe able to make a man's sperm taste like chocolate, I will be a millionaire. Okay, and everybody will be coming over saying, "Can I have some chocolate? Chocolate, chocolate, chocolate." What? Chocolate's delicious too.
I do agree with the chocolate.
Well, if I make it,
if there was a douche that was a chocolate flavor, I guess I would be all in.
If I can ever make Dr. Iceman's 2-nut root oil taste like fucking chocolate, you can have some. Okay, you're gonna think about that 2-nut root oil. It's delicious. Look, I got a big fucking rant today. I will say we record early usually, so we're a little ahead of time. So when you do hear this rant, you might have heard it on the news. Today, Baton Rouge City MOTORCOP got ran over by a piece of shit, no good, sorry motherfucker that left the scene after hitting him in another car. This man's in the hospital in stable condition, thank goodness. But I don't know who this piece of shit motherfucker is. But I hope somebody runs over your motherfucking ass and chops both your fucking legs off so you run around like fucking Lieutenant Dan after that shit with no leg. And they ain't gonna give you no fucking magic legs to run around with. You're just gonna be sitting there flicking with your little nubbies. Somebody run over your fucking legs. Piece of shit motherfucker. Anybody who runs off from an accident, oh, he got no insurance or you got warrants. I mean, fuck y'all people, man. I mean, take some responsibility. You hit this fucking man. You could have killed him. He's got a family, kids, and all this other shit, and you gonna run off. And I hope when they catch you, I can't even say what I hope they do to you when they catch your fucking ass, because it's not right. But karma is a bitch, and karma is coming for you big time, whoever you are. Male, female, granny, pawpaw, whoever you are. Karma's a bitch. Fuck you, you piece of shit motherfucker. That's my rant for today. Hope our brother gets well soon, because we'll definitely be thinking about him. Okay, well, back to the lighter side now, since I just went off like that. So
prayers for that officer and his family.
Yeah, and fuck you to the piece of shit motherfucker. No prayers for you. I hope Satan sticks a pitchfork in your fucking asshole and it burns.
I second that.
Yes.
With douche juice.
Yeah, you have to go to hell with a pitchfork in your ass and drink nothing but douche juice for the rest of your fucking life, dead last life over there. You're going to burn in hell. All right. On the lighter side, what kind of funny stories we got now since we did that? I feel better now. I'm feeling... Got that off my chest.
I know you like to go on your rants. I've got several. I've got several myself.
People just, I mean, everybody gets pissed off. It's just good to have an outlet that I can do it. And if people, I've had a few people that I know that says, one person's like, I tried to listen to you, but you kind of cuss a whole lot. Well, don't listen to me. I want you to listen to me, don't listen to me. But if I cuss too much, sorry. That's how I talk. And you know what? I pay for this motherfucker, so I can say, I can cuss if I want.
Well,
to.
let me ask you
I'm
this.
paying for it. So.
I don't, you try not to, but sometimes you can't help when you tell a story.
I have to.
You might throw the MF, you might throw GD. I don't know.
Well, I have to refrain all day long talking to the general public, because if I talk like that to the public, I'm definitely going to be in my boss's office trying to explain myself.
I understand,
So-
but sometimes if you're hearing that, I don't understand how that's a sin on their part just by hearing it.
I didn't say it was sin. They just couldn't. Some people just don't like hearing it. I guess I don't know. I mean, that's why we live in a free country.
If you're in earshot of something, you can't help it.
Well, nowadays you can't even go to freaking Wally World without having some.
Well, I do.
2-year-old cussing somebody out in front of.
Well, I'd had you see on Facebook all the time. There's people that want to take law into their own hands, and they want to get on the people from riding on the road in a bike, and then 10-year-olds are like, "Fuck you." They give them the finger. Well, I don't know. I don't know how you deal with it. Hey, they're 10-year-olds. I don't know. Cuss them back. I don't.
Yeah, we Bam has a Facebook page. I don't do the Facebook thing.
I don't either.
We are on Twitter now, people. We'll get to that later.
Twitter, TikTok.
Yeah, I'm learning how
Facebook.
to tweet. Tweet, cluck, peck, all kind of stuff. I'm learning this shit. I'm old. Like I said, when we had typing class in high school, we actually used typewriters with paper.
Well, I do have a story with cussing. So
Do you?
Yes, I do.
No.
I mean, I don't know if the story would be any good without cussing.
Well, your name's not Smokey, and you never said "Gee golly whiz bang," so let it ride.
Well, there was one time we had a guy that had busted his mama's house, busted the door, choked a girlfriend, knocked the mama to the ground. Well, when we get to this call, there was myself and two other deputies. The mother's like, hey, he lives at the back of the property. He's in a trailer at the back of the property. And, of course, this is like 500 yards away. So we're like, well, I guess we're going to have to track through the woods. It's cold. We're going to have to track through the woods or the property line to go back to this trailer. So we're on our way back to this property. So I got two guys that are on either side of me, and they got their shotguns, and we're making our way back to the property. Well, by the time we get it within about 100 yards, we see the guy come out of the trailer, and he's got a jacket on. Of course, we've got a...
Was it a NASCAR jacket?
It was not a NASCAR jacket. It was one of the Southern camouflage standard jackets.
How you know he had a jacket on if it's camouflage? You couldn't see it.
Well, he had a flash of light, and we could see the camouflage.
Okay.
He was not
He wasn't in
camouflaged
stealth
all the
mode.
way.
He
He
was-
was not in stealth
Okay.
mode. He failed in that aspect. So he comes out of the driveway. Of course, there's three of us, and we're giving him commands. Hey, he's walking out. He's got both hands in his pocket on this jacket. Both hands in the jacket. And of course, you know what that means. Well, he's got some shit, and it's about to go down. So what the hell has he got in his jacket pocket? So we're giving him commands. Hey, get on the ground. Quit walking. So he's walking down this newly shelled driveway. This shell was a foot deep. So we're giving him commands, and we're like, hey, get your ass on the ground. I got guys flanking me on either side, and we got guns on him. And, this guy is not the biggest, WWE candidate. He's only about 5'5". Now, I'm not saying that 5'5" is there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying in the aspect of controlling the situation, 5'5" is not going to be a problem usually.
Unless he's some MMA guy.
Yeah, well, let's say he's MMA, but he had both hands in his pocket, and we're screaming, get on the ground, and he's like, hey, fuck you, I don't get on the ground for nobody. I don't get on my knees for anybody, and we're commanding him to get on his knees and go to the ground. And, you know, like I said, he said, fuck you, I don't get on my knees for anybody. Well, I'm like, well, shit. Okay, we ain't gonna get on his knees. So finally he complies. He gets down in the ground. We go to subdue him, and he pulls his hands out of his pocket. He's got one club hand. So I'm like, what the shit? You know, how you gonna fight with one club hands? Because he's trying to fight us. You know,
he's gonna club you with it.
He's gonna club us. He's gonna club us with it. But before he goes to his knees, he looks at everybody. And we're giving him commands, and we're telling him to get on his knees. We're telling him to get on the ground, and he looks at everybody. And before he gets to his knees, he looks at everybody. He does one of those Joe Burrow secondary looks at every receiver. Okay, he looks to the right, he looks in the middle, and he looks to the left. He said, well, fuck y'all. I'm about to whip y'all's ass. While he's got a club hand and everything's in his hand, you know, in his jacket pocket, so I'm thinking, yeah, he's going to whip our ass. Well, this son of a bitch, once he gets to the ground and we go to secure him and put him in handcuffs, well, this son of a bitch gets to fighting like he's 6'8". And I'm like, you know, at 5'5", he's fighting like he's 6'8". And it takes a hell of a lot of effort to get him handcuffed. So at that point, we finally get him handcuffed, and he's got one fucking hand.
That's a good thing y'all dig him handcuffed.
Well, that was the first time.
Y'all would have been embarrassed if that handicapped guy would have whooped off.
If he had two hands, we'd have been in a shit creek. And I'm telling you, with one hand bandaged up and not useful, it kind of opened my eyes to what was going to happen down, in any other situation. But that's son of a bitch, when he looked at all three of us and said, I'm about to whip y'all's ass, if he had two hands, we'd have been fucked.
Well, I learned a long time ago not to underestimate people by the way they look or their statue, because one of the hardest fights I ever got into was with a bulldog. Excuse me if that's the wrong term or whatever. I'm sorry. That's what she was. She was a lesbian that was very mannish. She was a big girl. Got her in a stolen car. She got in a crash. Went to arrest her. Well, she goes to fucking fighting me. And this was in my younger days when I was still in the gym a lot, so I was in much better shape. Except I'm not a small guy. Well, she gave me a tussle, you hear me? And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Well, finally, I get in a position where actually I hit her head on the hood of the car. Once, that didn't work. Twice, didn't work. Well, the third time was a little harder, I'm telling you. So I bounced her head off the top of the hood of the car pretty good. Like I said, we were in a fight. We were in a physical fight, and I had no backup. Well, the third one, it dented the hood of the car, put a big dent in the hood of the car with her forehead, which it dazed her enough. I'm pretty sure she was seeing Tweety Birds at that point. Well, when she saw Tweety Birds, I got her in cuffs and was able to get her in the car. So don't underestimate people. She did have a goose egg on her, and later I had to explain, but.
Well, it seems like.
Well, on the way to jail, we're going to talk about, on the way to jail, she's in the back seat giving it to me. Man, fuck you. Y'all mama sucks dicks. Da, da, da. Well, I want to tell people, especially now, I'm like, say, y'all mama sucks dicks. I looked at her, I said, I sure the hell hope so for my daddy's sake, and I hope she's fucking good at it too. I mean, Jesus Christ, I don't want to picture my mama sucking a dick or nothing, but I mean, for my daddy's sake, I hope she does. I mean, you can't get mad at it or nothing. I mean, I ain't letting it. She's like, well, like that. I had told a story, I think, earlier when I first started this podcast. This guy told me to go suck my own dick.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, if I could suck my own dick, I wouldn't be out here arresting your ass. I'd either be in porn.
You're not going to be doing this podcast.
No, I would be making more money and enjoying myself.
Yes, you would not be in this podcast.
What you doing tonight? My friends were calling me up. Hey, what you doing tonight? Well, I ain't working. What? Hold on.
I'm retired. I'm retired.
Chocolate flavor.
Because if you could do that, it's better than,
Yeah.
you know.
I guess, like I said, I picture myself with this ginormous fucking cock that I could actually. It's gonna turn.
It seems like
I don't know why people get so mad. You talk about, people want to talk about your mom or your family. So many people, like I said, even the telemarketers from Egypt or wherever the fuck they're calling from over there, or Aruba or fucking, I don't know. You talk about their mamas, them motherfuckers. The IRS guy called me and wanted money, and I told him his mama sucked dicks, and he cussed me out. Oh, fuck are you? Fuck are you? I'll whip your ass. And the IRS guy hung up on me after telling me to go fuck myself.
I got the same phone call, and we were jacking with the guys that have a different accent.
You said you were jacking with him. I thought you said you got the phone call where you were jacking off.
No.
I mean, I never got that excited.
No, I was. It wasn't that extent.
Oh, okay.
To that extent, but we did jack with them after their accent was a little different than ours, I guess, so to speak.
No,
but I got the same cussing. He's like, "You motherfucking cocksucker," and I'm like, How the hell does that son of a bitch know what I was gonna say?
They get so mad. I mean,
so I know it was the IRS. I couldn't believe the IRS, as professional as they are, they were cussing me and calling me a motherfucking cocksucker.
But the IRS don't hire anyone that speaks English completely. They all have the same accent. I'm still waiting on my Publishers Clearinghouse. I want a Publishers Clearinghouse. I'm still waiting on that.
I have had them telling me they had a warrant for my arrest. I'm like, oh, you're full of shit. Because I looked it up. I looked it up in our system, and you're full of shit, and you don't know how this shit works.
Well, they told me they were going to come arrest me. I told them good because I was hungry as a motherfucker. I know they feed you at the jail. I was like, look, get me there before supper because I want my free food.
How many times, being a motor cop, how many times did you have to unlock a vehicle?
Oh, I can't even count that high.
So
I cannot.
Did you have a magical tool? I mean, I know you guys have saddlebags.
Yeah, well, I don't. Being on motors itself, we don't really unlock cars. But when I was a uniform cop, we unlocked cars because I can't carry.
You can't carry the big tool.
No, they got that big long metal thing now.
You can't carry the big tool like you had in the first podcast.
No, I do not have a big tool. Obviously, because the one guy told me to go suck my own dick, and I can't. So obviously, I don't have a big tool.
Yeah,
but no, it's a big long metal rod now. They you stick it in there, and you like a little blow up wedge thing. You pump it up, and or they got the Slim Jim thing too now. But, I mean, the old school way.
Old school, you can't use that anymore in the new cars because it'll blow you through your throat. With the new airbags, you can't put those old Slim Jims
glad.
in.
Well, I used one probably about a year and a half ago. This dude, it was raining too. I was pissed off. I mean, you gonna lock your keys in your car when it's fucking raining? You want me to come out there and get wet?
You got to wait till the rain stops.
So it did. I went out there and it was drizzling. I got it open, but the Slim Jim, as we call it, got stuck. That's why I always go to the passenger door. It got stuck in the front. It got stuck on something in there. And I tried for it only took me 2 minutes to unlock the car. I tried for 15 minutes to get this fucking tool out the door. And it would not come out. I finally said, hey, dude. I said, you can have it. I said, be careful driving around that you don't get stopped for stealing. They stole it with this fucking thing sticking out of it. I said, you got to pull the old door panel and get it off. Because it got wrapped. He drove off with it. I just got another one, but
it got stuck in there.
No,
so
it was
you
stuck.
lost that expensive department tool.
It wasn't expensive. Those
it
pieces.
It was a cheap department tool.
Well, no, I mean Slim Jims are cheap though. I mean, you can buy them on Amazon.
Well,
if you like to steal a car, no.
One of the first
they're
few,
on Amazon. No.
One of the first few unlocks that I come across, a lot of people do it all the time. They lock their keys in the car, and you don't want to pay $40, $50 for a pop-a lock. So they call department to come unlock their vehicle. So
Ones that still do.
Ones that still do. And what we usually had, what you call it, the forms that you signed.
Yeah, the release forms.
The release forms, so you didn't, damage.
When you fuck something up, they can't see you.
You didn't want to fuck anything up. So I get out of the vehicle and I got the release form, and the guy, this guy, I was surprised at first. He said, "Oh shit, I'm getting a ticket." I said,
Yep.
I said, "No, you're not getting a ticket." I said, "This is just for when I break the glass." So I had my baton, and I pulled it out of the case. I had my expandable baton. I pulled it out of the case, and I slung the baton out. I said, "This is just for when I bust the window so we can get it unlocked." He said, "Oh, shit, I didn't know I was going to have to bust my window. I could have done that without
I could have done that myself."
But I said, "No, finally, we was just having a little fun." I said, "No, it's just for in case we damage anything." But we were able to unlock the vehicle and get it unlocked without busting the window or any damage.
Intelligence.
But it was
people.
funny, it's funny to mess with people that are very
it's fun to mess
serious.
with people. It's very fun to mess with people. I had one about 2 years ago now. They sent me to unlock a vehicle. It was like a Suburban or a Tahoe or something. It was that big SUV. I get over there and I have her filling out the form, and I'm looking. She's like, "Oh yeah, she should unlock it." And I'm looking. I said, "What's that in your hands right there?" She says, "I said, is that the keys?" She's like, "Yeah, but the little thing won't. I keep pushing the button and it won't unlock. So I need you to unlock it for me." I said, "Can I see them a second?" So she hands me the keys with the key fob on it, and I, of course, stick the fucking key in the keyhole in the door and unlock the vehicle and hand her keys back. She's like, "Oh, I didn't know you could do that." All right. Now, I should have took the keys and threw them in the fucking ditch, because if you don't know how to unlock your goddamn car without the key fob, maybe you shouldn't be driving. But I'm serious. Everything's so electronic. She did not know you could stick the key in the key door and unlock the door, because the battery on her key fob was dead.
I probably suspect that you got on the interstate behind that person that was driving in that left lane after she got the car started.
No, but I'm serious. It's like, really? It's like you have the keys in your hand. Or the people that, these new cars, you got to have the key fob within a certain, like, by the car for it to unlock.
When you were on just uniform patrol, you ever had anybody hit your unit?
I had a drunk guy back his boat trailer into my unit and drive through its subway.
And how did that go?
Oh, he went to jail. That's where we know where this is about to go. Yeah, he went to jail. Just backed his Evan Root or whatever right in the freaking front of my. It's like, what the hell are you doing? I was just waiting to get me a freaking. There's one of the 6-inch, I mean,
yeah, it was.
I wasn't even being greedy.
You got more than 6 inches on that experience.
Yeah, not according to the guy that told me to go suck my own dick. But it sure wasn't a 12-inch, that's for sure. But he backed right into it. See how it all molds together.
That same thing happened to me. I got backed into on the interstate.
On the interstate?
After pulling somebody over and letting them go, not even writing a ticket. And I was disappointed in myself at first. I said, Iceman is looking over my shoulder, and he's probably thinking, "You son of a bitch! I can't believe you let him go." So it was somebody I'd pulled over. It was somebody I pulled over, and it was a nice Mercedes SUV. And I'm like, you passed me on the interstate. What the fuck? I'm just going to my daughter's house.
I'm not from around here. I don't know.
I'm going to my daughter's house, to watch my grandson. And I said, "Well, okay. What's the matter, man? The daughter was sick, and He was going to watch the grandson. I said, okay, well, it's 10 o'clock at night. I said, okay, look, just slow down. He was going on a mile down the road. I'm like, hell, just slow down, okay? Don't pass me. Don't pass the damn police on the interstate. So, I'm going to get back in my car, and, it's a good night. I'm feeling good. I thought I controlled the situation. I'm like, hey, slow down. Well, I go open my door to get back in, and the whole fucking car shakes. Like it's an earthquake. And we don't have that shit down here in Louisiana. We don't have earthquakes. So the whole car is shaking, and I'm like, what the shit just happened? And I look up, and the dude had backed into my unit. And I'm like, what the hell? How did you were 8 feet away. What the hell happened? So needless to say, I jump in the unit. He didn't stop. He just backed up, got back on the interstate, and starts going down the road. I'm like, oh, hell no. This shit just didn't happen. You didn't feel your car just back into a police officer?
Oh, my bad.
So I'm like, now I only had lights to begin with. Now I got lights and sirens. I mean, for surely he thinks this is some serious shit because I done pulled him over. I pulled him over once. Now I got to pull him over twice because he's going down the interstate. I pull him over. Didn't have a clue. And, of course, on the interstate, you got 100,000 cars going 90 miles an hour. And,
Unless they're in the left lane.
So they done bent the bumper, done bent the push bar on the unit.
It bent.
Of course, it turned.
He hit it hard enough to bend the push.
Yeah, oh yeah, he fucked it up. So I done had to call the supervisor, and then we had to call the state police, and of course he went to jail for DWI. Of course, when the state police gets there, and like, hey, you didn't suspect him drinking? I said, I ain't smelt a fucking thing.
Oh, you didn't get him out of the car or nothing, so you didn't mean.
No, but I mean, when you're talking to people, if
breathe on me.
If they're if they've been drinking or heavily drinking, normally you can smell a little bit of alcohol smell or a strong alcohol smell, and I didn't. I never smelt that damn thing. So the state police, when they get there doing the investigation, and they're doing everything, and I'm like, I think he's, after I got him out the second time, you could smell a little bit. He's like, hey, you didn't smell anything? I'm like, hell no. He's like, I don't think he's going to be drunk. He calls me a little bit later on. He said, yeah, that son of a bitch is drunk.
You remember what he blew?
It was almost 0.17 something or another on the third digit.
Oh yeah, he was.
But he was on the on the vodka side. Experienced, because I've experienced a lot of DWI stuff. When you can smell, alcohol.
Well, some people.
This is one of the first times that I couldn't smell a damn thing, and being that the state trooper was pretty experienced with his DWI. A lot of state troopers work DWIs and wrecks. That's about all they do. He tells me that. I don't know. Well,
he was probably an alcoholic.
He was sure as hell surprised himself.
He was probably an old alcoholic.
And that had
handle it.
And you've had a bunch of experiences like that. I've had an experience with underage drinking.
I haven't had a whole bunch. The only underage drinking pretty much I ever had was like kids parking in the park or something, and you pull up, and they all take off running. And then you got just ice chest sitting here, and you don't know what to do with it. So
it's free alcohol.
You put it in your unit. They'll call if they need.
Yes.
I'm not a beer drinker. All these kids always drink this fucking beer shit. So I do not even like the smell of beer. It's like nasty. The Freebird here does make some of his own drink that is very delicious. I got to partake in it.
I do.
Yes, and it is. He also got to partake in some unicorn titty milk. I like to have all my guests do it, except Smokey, who don't drink. He just drinks Kool-Aid and
well, he needs to at least smell the unicorn titty milk.
Unicorn, you could like rub unicorn titty milk on your nipples and lick it off, and it'd be delicious.
Yes,
Even on a hairy nipple.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. That was the first time that I've experienced that, and I think we were probably going to experience that a little more.
So you need
it was not a one-time deal.
No. It's very delicious.
Have you ever had, speaking of unicorn titty milk, there's been people that I've come across that I think that were on that. and it, like I said, it was underage. I've pulled a girl over before that was underage, and I could have sworn she was on the unicorn titty milk.
But see, you don't have to do regular breathalyzer or not. You have to watch it. If they pee rainbows, you know they're drunk on the unicorn.
Yes, correct. Or if they fall down when they get out of the vehicle.
You have a lot of people falling down when they get out the car, huh?
Well, I've had a couple. I've had a couple in this particular one. I didn't see the unicorn titty milk in the console. I could only assume. But I was concerned because she was driving down the highway with no lights. And I said, what the hell? I just saw you come out of here. You run the stop sign. You have no lights on. And she said, I just dropped my friends off. Of course, she can't hardly stand up. And in the back of my mind the whole time, I'm thinking unicorn titty milk. That's what she was on because it was that good. And I said, what friends did you drop off? She said, well, I didn't. After she told me she dropped them off, she said, I didn't. I said, where are they at? She said, well, they're in the car. So I looked in the car, and there's nobody but her. I said, well, there's nobody in there. She turns around. It's like a hee-haw episode, it was that animated. She's like, what? There's nobody in my car? I said, no, ain't a fucking person in your car. She said, oh my God, where did they go? I don't know. Needless to say that that was a DWI.
Did she ever find her friends?
She never did find her friends, and I didn't either. So I don't know if they were all in the, all in the spacecraft drinking unicorn titty milk.
She was probably definitely pissing around.
But, for her to fall out of the vehicle and then turn around like it was like, holy hell, where the hell are the people that were with me? They're gone.
Yeah, a lot of people falling.
I don't even know. She didn't even know. I'm surprised that she even knew she was driving a car.
All these people falling down. I think you're tripping them.
Well, I wasn't close enough. I think we were still. At the time, we were still practicing. Police still practice social distancing. Way before social distancing was the shit.
6 feet. People now, it's like you go in the stores and it's like now it's like all the little fucking tape marks on the floor. Of course, went to Walmart and they got little directional arrows now at Walmart. I don't shop at Walmart often. I'm not a fan. People don't
abide by that.
But they got them little directions. It's like, go this way. Well, Bam told me, you can't go that way. Fuck that. I'm breaking this goddamn rule. I'm going up the opposite way. Look, just walk backwards. So they just think you might be heading in the opposite. They don't know. They tell me which way to walk down a goddamn grocery aisle.
So if you walk backwards down the aisle in the direction that the arrow is that acceptable?
No, you still. It just makes it look like if somebody comes, it looks like you're already pointing in the right direction. You're just going the wrong way. Except for that one woman, every time she started walking backwards, it went beep, beep, beep. No. them people will run you over in them little fucking grocery carts, though, them little motorized ones. My mother-in-law will take your ass out in a heartbeat.
Well, those people will not move out of your way for shit. They will run you over in the aisle. They will run you over in the parking lot.
Oh, my mother-in-law, I think, got pulled over by Walmart security and got a ticket for speeding in her personal chair in Walmart. Because let me tell you what, I love her to death. She's dangerous. She will. I was in a restaurant. We were walking in a restaurant. I watched her run over this poor motherfucker's toes in the chair and keep going. She didn't even say sorry. She just ran his ass over, foot and all, and just kept on trucking down. You know, fuck you. Get out of my way. Just run. This poor man's limping, jumping up and down back there. Done run his ass over. She don't care. She did. She.
Well, I tell you what, that's a big set of balls.
She just ran. She just going. And motorized wheelchairs are heavy.
Did she even adhere to the Walmart police, or she just kept going?
No, I think she stopped. I don't know if she paid the ticket or not. She might have a Walmart warrant out at this point in time. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know how that's enforceable, but I would love to see a Walmart warrant.
Yeah, Walmart warrant. Walmart. I'm still waiting on my W-2 from Walmart. It's a few times I do go there.
Well, the last
you
time
got to go check yourself out.
The last time I was at Walmart, I had a guy that sped out of the parking lot that had a few things wrong with the vehicle. So I left the Walmart parking lot and pulled this guy over. And, apparently there were several things wrong, but he had a lot of weed in the vehicle. So of course, this ties into Walmart. So I didn't issue a Walmart warrant, but
was the weed on sale at Walmart?
The weed was not on sale at Walmart. I think he got out of the parking lot without it being on sale at Walmart. So I pull him over, and of course we find the weed, and I'm trying to measure everything. Normally we have a lot of uniform units have scales. And we try to do the evidence on scene. So I'm measuring the weed he had. And of course, you try to have a comical conversation with the guys that you're potentially arresting, or you potentially can give you some information. And I weigh the weed, and I said, this is how much it is. He's like, that's bullshit. I said, but that ain't bullshit. You're looking at the scale. This is what your weed weighs. This is what's going into evidence.
And how much he bought.
No, he said that motherfucker. He said if that's the weed that he gave me, that motherfucker gave me too much.
I said, hey.
Do you want to? Well, let me know where you got it at, and I'll return the excess back to him.
So he says,
You got the fucking scale on your hood and it's at an angle.
I said, no, that ain't right.
He said, I'm telling you, that fucking scale's on an angle and you need to put it on a flat surface and measure that some bitch.
So I said, well, hell, okay, let me do this. He said, this is how much weed it ought to be because that's how much I bought. So I said, hey, okay, we're going to try this. So I put his tailgate down, and I put that scale on the damn flat surface, and I weighed it. Sure as shit, it come up to the same amount. He said, I told you, motherfucker, that's how much I bought. That was my experience. That was my experience in the Walmart parking lot, and weighing fucking weed.
You got schooled on weed.
I got schooled on weed because I was like, don't have it on a slight angle because it's gonna throw that shit off. Because otherwise, the fuckers know exactly how much. Don't try to gyp the damn weed people. Don't try to gyp the damn pill people. They know exactly how much they buy. How much all those criminals know that shit. Don't try to shortchange those.
See, now
fuckers.
you know. Weigh the weed on a flat surface.
On a flat surface. If you're at a slight 5-degree angle, you're fucked.
It weighs too much.
It's what he said. Hey, no, it weighs less.
Oh,
he's like, yeah. No, it does weigh too much. You're right. He did say it weighed too much. He's like, that motherfucker sold me too much weed. I said, I ain't believing this.
I was at Stop and Rob. Long time, it was a long time ago, I guess, about 6 years ago. I stopped in after working at school zone, or in between school zones, to get me some coffee. So I go in and he used to have a little table. I sit at the table. drinking my coffee.
Oh, it must
You know,
must be past.
no, it's not that. It's
Must be the deuce juice.
it's the douche juice is got me wanting to throw up. He's drinking. He's got it in his hand. People, it's disgusting. I think it came in a box that said minutes ago, and he's drinking it. Gross. Anyway, I'm drinking my coffee, minding my own fucking business. Well, I'm pointing at the door, looking at the registers, and I got my back to everybody. And I watch this guy walk in. And he goes and buys his morning grape flavored Swisher Sweet, cigar. I'm sitting there watching him. Well, he reaches in his pocket to get his money to buy the cigars because he looked like a cigar connoisseur type of fella. Not really. But as he reaches in his pocket, I'm watching him, he pulls his hand out of his pocket, he pays for the cigars. Well, he didn't notice that his bag of weed that he had in his pocket fell out. And it's like laying there on the floor by the cash register on the counter. So I'm watching. So I get up and walk over there, and it's a brand new bag of weed. He ain't even opened this shit yet. What the hell you think he's buying cigars for, right?
Yeah, exactly. Cigar weed.
So I pick up the weed, and he's like in his car, and I walk out and say, "Hey man," I said, "I think you dropped this. I ain't never seen that shit in my life." When he took the fuck off. I didn't. The rest of them, I'm thinking, this
He
poor
didn't know
motherfucker.
what the shit to say.
He done spent money on. Now he's got to smoke fucking cigars because I got all his fucking weed now.
Yeah.
But he's like, "Oh, I ain't never seen that in my life." I watched him
So
drop it out of his pocket. I'm sitting there like, look at this shit. This shit really happening right now.
You're gonna be smoking that Swisher Sweet grape
Yeah.
with no weed in it.
No chronic for you, buddy.
I've had a couple of guys that I've pulled over. I'm not an experienced weed guy.
You're not a weed connoisseur?
I'm not a weed connoisseur. I have become one over the years. Because
Do you like the
of law
gummies or
enforcement.
the brownie?
Well, I would say
I'm messing with you.
it would be brownies over gummies, but I'm still not that kind of connoisseur yet. I mean, maybe in a couple of years after they legalize shit, I don't know. But I have had a few people have the cigar weed.
Cigar weed.
And I've gotten out of the vehicle and I said, look, show me how you do this shit. Well, I want you to unroll this fucking cigar weed and get this weed out of here without tearing that damn wrapper. Show me how good I let it into, show me how good your skills are, because I don't think they're worth a shit. Can you think you can unroll this cigar with all this weed in there without tearing the wrapper? Oh yeah, I could do it. I said, well, show me. Show me how you do that. Well, I tell you what, there's a son of a bitch one night that he lipped his thumb and just in about 30 seconds the shit was out of the wrapper. And it looked like son of a bitch was glued from the factory. And I'm like, what the fuck? How did you do this shit?
Got some talent. Talent.
I said, well, this has been an educational experience.
Talent.
So, sometimes it takes. Like I said, I'm not a weed connoisseur. And I didn't do that growing up, but I've had to learn over the years. So
Yeah, me neither. I don't even know if they sell was them zigzag papers?
Yeah,
I think most everybody uses those.
They used to use the zigzags and they roll the weed in the zigzag. But nowadays, as society gets older, those kids get lazier. And I know goddamn good and well that I've told some kids before, y'all some lazy son of a bitches. I know y'all didn't spend the time to roll
They spoke
tobacco
pipes and shit.
like my grandpa did. My grandpa did back in the early 70s. He rolled some zigzag papers with tobacco. Y'all motherfuckers, I know damn good and well you're not the same, built from the same sediment in the bricks.
Oh, them old school
you're not rolling tobacco. You're too lazy.
They had you can tell them old school. They had the yellow fingers from rolling that or they'd been in prison
Yeah.
for a long time, one or two, because they used to.
Man, I tell
The
you,
buglers in prison, they buy a whole can of buglers. You can buy like 2 cartons of cigarettes for. Look, Miss
but you know, you always get told,
Freebird
"Hey, I'm rolling,
sleep.
I'm rolling cigarettes." I'm like, "You lying motherfuckers!
There it
You're too lazy.
Where's the
You
buglers
didn't
at?
roll it. Where's your tobacco at?" I said, "You got weed. You got weed in the car. Where's the tobacco that you use? I mean, your regular tobacco that you smoke cigarettes with."
And everybody,
I don't.
it's so bad. People, they're like, "Oh,
Sometimes-
weed
yeah.
in the car." It's like I could smell you when you drove past. You have it.
That's happening. You can smell a weed 20 feet away that it's good shit. If it's good shit, not ditch weed. I mean, they got their window down where you're expecting to walk up, and you're like, "Oh my God, are you kidding me?" Well, how much? When did y'all smoke weed? We don't touch that stuff. What? Yeah. Okay.
Do you have a skunk in the trunk?
Yeah. Did you have some wildlife?
Yeah, there's some shit in your car.
Did sometimes I think there's been times that I've come across an animal that I thought was on weed. You ever come across an animal that was on weed?
What was they called? Rabies?
I wouldn't say rabies, but there was back in your day.
They had that coon disease. It seemed like wasn't too long ago where they were like standing on the side of the road in the middle of the day like they were zombies or some shit. I forget.
No, you're watching too much TV.
No, I'm serious. It wasn't zombies. It was like a disease, but they were like out during the day. The zombies are real. I'm telling you.
Weed dog zombies or something?
No.
I don't know.
The raccoon
I don't.
had some kind of disease. It made them like zombies. And they just stand on the side of the road in the middle of the day like.
That was that might have been people that was on weed that saw
Those
raccoons on the side of the
Those
road.
were raccoons. The raccoon, the animal, was never mind. It happened because I saw it a whole bunch. I'm like, what the fuck are these raccoons doing? Standing on the side of the road like fucking zombies.
It was medical marijuana.
Oh, that's what they were on.
But I have seen there was a call I went on one time that I swear that the dog was on weed. So I get a call on, we get a call for a dog bite. So I get to this call. They went to the residence and they have a poodle that's been bit by a dog. And I said, where was your dog at? They said, in the backyard. I said, where the dog that bit it, how did it get in your backyard? It jumped the fence. So I go to the backyard and I'm like, well, I look at the fence and it's a 6-foot wooden fence. And they said, well, we were sitting in the back and my poodle was sitting here and the dog jumped over the fence and bit my dog. I say, well, medical marijuana or marijuana, y'all either smoking the shit or the dog's on the shit. They're like, no, it jumped over this 6-foot wooden fence. I said, well, where did it come from? They said 2 houses over. So I'm in the back, I'm in the back half of this house, and I'm looking at this damn dog, or the fence, and it's a 6-foot wooden fence, and I'm looking at 2 houses over, and every person has a 6-foot wooden fence. I said, oh, this is bullshit. Somebody smoking something. They said, no, it came from 2 houses over, and it's a 6-foot wooden fence. I said, there ain't no way. The dog jumped over both fences, come in here and bit your dog. They said, yeah, you need to talk to my neighbor. They have pictures. So I said, oh, this shit's getting better. Let me get my popcorn. Because I'm gonna go to Iceman's house and get some popcorn. And I'm going to give me a bag of popcorn, and I'm going to go and we're going to get the rest of the story, just like Paul Harvey. So I go to the neighbor's house, and they're like, yeah, it attacked our dog. This dog attacked our dog, and it jumped over the fence. I said, y'all all smoking the same shit? Y'all all smoking the same weed? They're like, no, we got pictures. We have pictures, just like the internet. So they proceed to show me pictures of a fucking dog that's got rat ears sitting on top of a 6-foot fence, looking down 2 or 3 houses, scouting other dogs. This fucking dog was sitting on the fence.
Holy Jesus.
That's what I said.
What is that? What the fuck is that?
That's what I said when I saw the picture. I'm like, this shit's got to be photoshopped. They said, no, this fucking dog's sitting on the fence, looking down, scouting our shit out. And I, sure as shit, I have never seen anything like that in my life. This damn half coyote, half Bigfoot, half shit sitting on the top of a 6-foot fence, standing. I've got pictures of that shit. Looking down, and that son of a bitch was scouting. I you know, from the picture that I saw, that son of a bitch was scouting 2 or 3.
The X Games dog.
Yeah. This is more than the old Crush or Warrior. What the hell was that show? Yeah, Gladiators. This dog would have took the shit on Gladiators.
Like a new show.
I've never seen anything like that. I saw a picture that the neighbor had with this dog sitting on a 6-foot fence, like he was hunting shit. He was either hunting people, or he was on weed, or he was on pills.
That was an impressive, very impressive dog there. Then
you know, hey, I told the guy that owned the dog, I said, you need to put that son of a bitch in an enclosed cage somewhere.
Or one of them shot collar things with the perimeter fence they have.
I think he would have outdone that.
All right, well, we are running a little long tonight. We're going to wrap it up. We'll have Freebird back on if he wants to come to finish this up. And so we're going to close it up.
Do you need me to bring some Deuce juice?
No, you can leave the Deuce juice at the house. He did bring me another bottle of my Old Smoky Salted Caramel Deliciousness whiskey, which I love. Old Smoky, if you're out there, if you ever listen, sponsor, be sweet of you. Oh, we are on Twitter, Dale, at MotorCop Chronicles. At Twitter, look us up, add us. I actually did my first tweet today, which I will throw out there as goes to it. I still carry pepper spray, which is Freeze, OCCS mixture. I leaned up against a countertop where I was having a drink this morning, talking to 2 other deputies, and accidentally set the freeze canister off and sprayed myself along with the other people. Then I took it out to move it and sprayed myself again. So, yeah, hashtag dumb ass.
Hashtag active for 24 hours.
Yes. And let me tell you, my freeze canister on the bottom of my nose expired this last October. Well, the shit still works just fine, trust me, because I was on fire. It's been a long time. I used to be a chemical weapons instructor. It still burns just the same as I remember it. But yeah, check us out on Twitter. See what I may have to say on there. Also, follow us on Facebook. Email us, Motorcop Chronicles Podcast. No. Motorcop Chronicles at gmail.com. She corrected me. I don't know if she'll edit that out or not. We'll see.
Motorcop Chronicles.
I've drinking
gmail.com.
Yes. I've been drinking a little bit of whiskey tonight, okay? Forgive me. If you're a future motor cop, want to be motor cop, past motor cop, president, retired.
Don't spray yourself with OCC.
Freeze is not allowed in the clubhouse. Hit us up on Facebook or email us. Come on, write in, tell your stories or whatever. We'll keep you anonymous. Give us a 5-star review. Write us a review. We appreciate it. And always remember that the Iceman could always be behind you.
I'm cranking up on the throttle. This is how legends are made.